Yes, sir, we promised you a great main event match.
This is classic.
Andre, the
WrestleMania!
WrestleMania is running wild.
The world is listening.
Real Kick Radio.
I'm here with Sid. You know what? Hey, people are always asking what is going on with Sid. Why isn't he in WWE? Why isn't he in TNA? What's he doing these days?
Well, honestly, what I'm doing is I'm a filmmaker now, Bill. I just finished a film called F is for Fun. You can see some of the trailers on YouTube or MySpace.
Now, what is this film called?
F is for Fun. And it stands, F is for Fun, meaning F isn't for...
Oh, the letter.
F is for fun.
F as in fun.
That's what it is. And it's a documentary about a small wrestling organization, Osceola, Arkansas. I've been there for 15 years. There's no cussing. There's no cussing allowed in the music. And a documentary, I got to ask these kids, 8 years old, and from the ladies to 80 years old. So after the movie The Wrestler, I wanted the people to see that there's still that type of wrestling still alive.
Yeah, really good entertainment.
The movie The Wrestler is pretty much true to the fiction too, but what I'm going to show the people, and what the people will be able to see in F is for Fun, that there is still going on fun.
Now, where can somebody find this?
Well, I've had a hard time getting MySpace to put it up because they're saying I don't own the film. I've got it submitted to a bunch of film festivals in the country right now.
Okay.
So I'm trying to get it shown.
Right.
I'm gonna probably change the name to it to probably the promotion. Just filmmakers look at that and they'll pick out it a little faster.
Okay.
But that's what it's right now. It's F is for Fun. You should be able to see some of the trailers on YouTube or MySpace.
One man survives.
Danny Richardson, how is such a stupid man one of the, in my opinion, great big men of wrestling history?
Was it from a lack of other great big men at that time?
You don't think that there's a magic that Sid has when this song hits and he's just standing there like it seems like he's trying to whisper to himself. His lips are moving, but nothing's coming out, and his eyes are bulging. There's water and sweat all over him. You don't think that's a powerful image?
He definitely looks like he lives the part. I remember being a kid and like around WrestleMania 8 when he's feuding with Hogan, I remember being scared of Sid. That's kind of a trend in my life as a kid. I was always scared of the unstoppable bad guy.
You always bring up the wrong era, people. You're always one era too early. I'm talking about Sid, who took a camera, hit Shawn Michaels with it, and ended his first title reign.
I hated that Sid.
Have you listened to this song in depth yet?
Oh, I have. I had the soundtrack, the CD that had all these on it.
I remember growing up, my brother told me, he was like, you got to listen to the Sid song. There's a part where he starts just talking about the power bomb. Is there really a part like that in this?
I don't actually remember that. I remember there's a part where he just talks about being the master and the ruler of the world and all that. Like it added more to his song, where other people, they try to add talking into their theme songs, and it ruined it for a lot of them.
Apparently he's like, I am the master of the power bomb.
Oh, God. I know you're saying that. It's so funny. It's so funny. Open your eyes. Look what you're looking at. See what you see. It's called power. It's called the power bomb. And no one gets up from that. And why?
I'm telling you, I'm buying into the hype now. I don't know if it's that awesome Psycho style, can I reenact it? Ring, 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 ring. But there's something about this moment that's making me dispel all the hatred for Sid. What a guy.
I don't know. I mean, when you talk like if you mention like the top, big men of all time, like he would be on my list, like, or at least I would think of him right away. Like, I don't know if it's just because other companies always put him at the top, so you just associate him with that. But for a guy that was sloppy in the ring and kind of sloppy on the mic in a certain way, like he was good. He was likable.
I'm with you. Now, Danny Richardson, I am Kevin Scampoli. It is the whole fucking show. That's fucking show on Twitter, fucking show podcast on YouTube. But more important than all that is the fact that it's the whole fucking show.info where everything comes together. I am Kevin Scampoli, but if you have the internet, I highly suggest, Googling me, maybe Googling the name Ivan Cage with a K. You might even find some of my victories in the past. I'm a 3-time IW champion, Danny Richardson. I've beaten Anthony Cutler, Stephon Waters. I think I beat someone who RP'd as Sid once. I've since retired, but I had such a great record, and I'm joined by the man himself.
I'm Danny Richardson. I'm Primetime, and I would list off all my EFED victories, but when you got 2 in the real world, none of that stuff matters.
You're 2-0, huh? You have 2 professional matches, and you won them both.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hold that over all the people that, I still talk to from that company.
Now, did you really win, or is it one of those ref fell down, hit him with the bell? Because you love the ring bell. You always talk about how the ring bell is the best weapon, so something tells me it played a part in one of your victories. I'm putting quotes in the air.
Both my victories, it would be their dusty finishes, as they would call it. First match had a run-in that attacked the guy when the ref was down, and actually both matches had that. Now that I think about it, the second match was the same thing.
Wait, you had a stable? You had a crew? There was the primetime people?
First match was a 3-on-3, and there was a whole storyline where one of the guys from the other team left during the match because he got pissed at them. So then at the end, he came back, beat up his former teammate, and helped me get the win. And then the second match, there was a guy that helped me out, and it was supposed to lead to something, but we didn't go on long enough for that to ever happen.
Primetime Danny Richardson is one of the great big men of wrestling history. I don't care what anyone says. No, but did you, when you say the finish, how did it work? Did they tell you the finish, or did they just tell you who's going to win and you came up with the finish? Who does that?
The guy that ran the company then was very hands-on with our matches. He actually, not so much the first match, but which is weird because it went back. He had a lot of trust in us in the first match. The second match,
he ran in on both of them.
Well, the second match though, he gave us a full script, move by move of how he wanted it to go. He wrote it out.
So he was writing results for an Evan Cage match when I beat Anthony Cullen. Was there a Mustang in the ring or any type of car in the ring? Because it could be the same guy who ran IW.
No, nothing that creative. It was he had a match that involved me getting beat up for 10 minutes and then winning at the end.
Danny Richardson, we have so much to talk about. I don't know why
we do. I feel like it's been forever.
I feel like we waste a lot of time talking about your fake 2 matches that never happened. I want proof. I want a picture. I want a website. I want results from somebody. And they need to be professional. I don't want silly fonts or any Comic Sans nonsense.
The best I have in my hands, I have a program from the first show.
Perfect. Send it over.
I will scan it and do
Please,
that. And
actually, please scan
somewhere there are tapes. They're just really hard to track down. I have one of them, but I can't find it because I have a stack of old VHS tapes that I don't have a VCR to go through them with.
I can't stress how much we need to do a commentary of one of your matches. And I already know the finish, but I need to see it. And I also need to scan that, or you need to scan that program for a logo, something on the front and every page of every website I have some sort of web design part of.
Yeah, I think all it says is my name on it. That's the only hint. And then they spelled it wrong. It was Primetime with 2 Y's. It was horrible.
Primetime. We shouldn't even have one. Why do you even put 1 Y in Primetime? Was that your idea?
I honestly, I felt. Here's the thing. Almost goes with your argument. To me, I think that made it feel more like a name than a description.
See, you knew deep down you don't have a real wrestling name. You have a nickname.
Yeah, I think I might have. I think it's I never thought of it until you asked me that question. I'm like, well, no, because when I did it, it looked like a name instead of a nickname.
Well, the Danny Richardson focus continues because you have a new game. Is this your 3rd or 4th new game we're going to do later?
I think this is game number 4. We did Undertaker or Undertaker.
Loved it.
We did. I'm trying to remember. Now I remember.
Well,
last week we did the Psychic game.
If it helps you remember, you can call them by their Sports Center names as well because you stole them from TV. They're just blatant rip-offs. These are not original ideas. That's why I'm against them. But one by one, you're starting to kind of win me over with them. So I think we'll pick the best 3 once you do your 20, and we'll see which one works. And then also we have your 5-match dream card, something we talked about last week and that I never did. I thought about it slightly, and I have 1 match, the main event, but I'll save mine for next week. I think that'll be a good 2-parter.
I will say all the time we discuss, during the week or a week before, whatever, things that we're going to be talking about.
Never.
And this is one that you assigned on the fly last week.
Yes.
And I have never stressed over anything more. I had a school final on Monday. I had more paperwork than I've ever had at my job before over the weekend. And none of that mattered because I was stressing the whole time. As I'm doing that stuff, all I could think about was, what are my 5 matches? And even now, as I finalized it, I don't like him. Like I just feel like but I can't think of any better. Like I just don't know what's out there.
It's so hard to think of a dream card without a written storyline for you. Like I'm so used to being like to judging what I'm seeing that creating the card might be difficult. But we'll see with yours because you're like an 11-year-old me. Like I used to look at action figures I want to buy. I draw brackets on notebooks. This guy will fight this guy and he's gonna pull his hair and grab the tights. That's the win. This guy will lose to this guy. And I had to do 12 drafts and then throw it away and start over.
I still buy the action figures if that helps.
But before we get to you, because we're always talking about Danny Richardson, you're always doing your silly Paul Bear impression. You're always inviting your friends on to talk about video games that never existed. And now finally, I need some Kevin time. This is a game I came up with. It's called Kevin Asks Questions and Stuff. All right? Wait.
That's a good title. It's better than Undertaker or Undertaker.
Holy shit! Holy shit, that modulated on me. How about you? Holy shit. I almost yelled it back. I almost pressed it, then screamed it back at it. Like, holy shit. But Danny Richardson, I love this new game. What's with Shawn Michaels' cow pants? Now, we all love the 1992 Shawn Michaels, but is that a cow pants?
Is this your new game?
Yeah, it's I ask you questions.
We just talk about Shawn Michaels' cow pants?
Well, it's part of it. I don't have a name yet. It's just Kevin asked some questions and stuff.
I don't know. Are they cow pants? It was almost like a camouflage kind of thing, but they weren't the camouflage. I don't know what they were.
I think it's cow pants. I don't think because I'm like, is there a heart? Can I make a heart? No, there's no heart there. Like it would have been easy to do the heart because his name, Heartbreak Kid, but he went with cow pants.
Are we talking about the end of the road Shawn Michaels, the one that's in the SmackDown versus Raw video game?
I believe so. Also, the famous, it's even ladder match, WrestleMania 10, Shawn Michaels. It's Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart at Survivor Series 92 pants.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, those have like a heart pattern. It's like a broken heart on them.
I don't know about that. Maybe now that I bring up some clips of him in the ladder match, they might be a little different. But this, I'm bringing up the video. I need to see him and Bret Hart because I just watched this match randomly. It was exciting to see the most insane finish ever. Shawn Michaels. It was basically the Iron Man finish, but he tapped out. Have you seen this? Go ahead.
Which one is this? Sorry.
Where he jumps off the rope, he catches his legs. It's 92 Survivor Series IC champ versus WWF champ, and they just did what ended up being the Iron Man finish. Only he didn't tap out, obviously, but they made him tap out. It was a pretty entertaining match, but these pants are going too far for me. Is there supposed to be a heart in there? Is that what you're telling me?
I think so. Like the ones at WrestleMania 12, I know they were like the white pants with like silver hearts, or were they gold? No, I think they were silver.
Well, they're definitely cow hearts.
Was that the compromise here?
I think we'll settle on that because I have this. Here's a big one. Why doesn't WWE use Starrcade? Isn't Starrcade one of the better pay-per-view names? I almost prefer that name over WrestleMania just from a unbiased name versus name. Starrcade's a perfect December pay-per-view.
Yeah, most people, and I didn't grow up with WCW when it, they had, just a few pay-per-views a year, but a lot of people put that on the same level as WrestleMania, and to my understanding, I think it actually is even older than WrestleMania. They were doing that pay-per-view before WrestleMania, so it's got more history to it.
Yeah, there's nothing more annoying than watching a classic WCW pay-per-view and hearing Tony Schiavone hype up Starrcade and making sure people knew 28 years or whatever the fuck, 24 years, just really stressing, or might have been 18. It was a big number, but I was just stressing this is longer than WrestleMania. WCW concentrated so much on what WWF was doing. It bothers me now to see it. Of course, it pissed me off then. But to see it now, it's even more upsetting.
See, and I actually was trying to explain this to my wife the other day. I was showing her a Steve Austin clip when he came to ECW, and I was trying to explain to her why it was a good promo that he cut because he's there and he was just ripping on WCW. And I said, other companies would generally pretend that that their competition didn't exist. But ECW would let guys come in and you could just say whatever you wanted about whoever because they had nothing to lose.
Yeah.
And it came off that way, but it worked. I mean, because they didn't, you kind of liked watching that. WWF for a long time ignored WCW until they got, kind of desperate, and then they started acknowledging them and attacking him. But they did it in a way where they were poking jabs at him, and it didn't come off desperate. And then when WCW would do it back, when they were on the losing end, and like you said, like the Starrcade things, just comments that would be made by the broadcasters on Nitro. It somehow came off desperate. And I don't know if that's my biased pro WWE fanboy inside, But I remember every time WCW would make a mention to WWF, it sounded desperate, and it sounded like they were acknowledging that they were second rate.
It was so desperate, and it's ridiculous. Like, and actually, if you watch that stuff too, WCW, with all the things they did wrong, there's a few things they did right where WWF completely fell flat with. Like Dean Douglas, they actually brought in the franchise. And then it was just like, oh, now he's just all of a sudden he was just the franchise, and it looked like it was just he was created to fight the Wall. Remember the Wall?
Yes.
Where's fucking? It was like, all right, the Wall sucks, so now the franchise sucks. And oh my god, and this is just not even a real. This is like if I saw you in person and we just started bringing up random matches. So we'll make this quick, but this is part of the game actually. Remember the scaffold match between Billy Kidman and the franchise?
I didn't see that. I've seen scaffold matches before from other companies, and they're always really bad.
It's WCW has a way of making things worse, and they absolutely had, like when Bully Ray put AJ Styles through a mattress a few weeks ago. This was worse than that. It was embarrassing.
Like the Undertaker, Undertaker Triple H, the little choke slam off the platform.
I'm not even I have the pay-per-view names up. Nothing's better than Starrcade. We have Over the Limit coming up this weekend. Who wants to see this stuff?
You know, that was in my show notes. I was going to bring up to you what you thought of, because there's some other new pay-per-view names they got coming up. They have one over the summer, Capital Punishment.
Yeah, see that one, I almost prefer, as much as I don't like that or an Over the Limit, they're very cheesy. But as we're like, when I was a kid with those wrestling figures making the card, I would come up with probably better names. But I still prefer it over a Fatal 4-Way, which every year in June, we need to have the Fatal 4-Way. Money in the Bank's okay because that's like a Royal Rumble type of thing. But a Fatal 4-Way is just a basic type of match. We shouldn't be going, all right, 11 months till that Fatal 4-Way. Let's start planning for it.
It's true, because that seemed like they did the last year where like every pay-per-view was named after a gimmick match.
Yeah.
And I don't understand it. Like, it's like they couldn't come up with new names. When, like you said, they have all the WCW names. The only one that I can think of that they've stolen and used was the Great American Bash they did for a couple years. Yeah. And that might be one of my least favorite WCW pay-per-view names.
I don't know why I'm a big fan of that one. I like Slamboree and Great American Bash. Now it's just the Bash.
See, so I liked even simpler ones like Fall Brawl. And then people liked because they used the War Game. And maybe that's because I associate it with War Games, which I think a lot of people put too high on a pedestal, and it wouldn't translate well this day.
Are you talking about how many rings is in that one?
Well, War Games was the one where they had the cages over like 2 rings.
Okay.
And they did like 4-on-4, 5-on-5, and you alternated guys from the team to come in.
Oh, yeah.
And they were good back then, but nowadays, like, matches need to have something on the line. They need to mean something, which is why, they don't have Survivor Series anymore, because nobody really, you don't have anything invested in a team on team, and then, the next night on Raw, nobody's affected if your team lost or won. It didn't help you any.
Yeah, and there is a Survivor Series this year. What's going to be the bit? Is the new Nexus going to be the new problem? We need to have a team match. Nothing worse than, like, if you're going to ditch the Survivor Series matches, don't save it for the main event and have it be that. I cannot have anything. It's elimination, so it's entertaining, but I can't do tag team stuff in a main event. And what's with Uprising? Is there the new Nexus? Are we going to expect the newest Nexus to come and we can all rebuy the t-shirt and hopefully invest in a Top Rope shirt, which, by the way, are made out of very plasticky cotton. It's terrible.
Oh, did you already buy it?
I have 3 of them. I have 3 Top Rope shirts, all clearance priced, but none of them are wearable.
Which ones are your Top Rope shirts?
I have a Nexus one, and hopefully I can buy a new one in October for Uprising. October is one of those months.
Are you going to Uprising?
I probably would, but the sad point is it's one of those months with 2 pay-per-views, so it's like, all right, we need to really throw something together in 2 weeks for Uprising, the newest Nexus.
Is it really? There's 2 in that month?
Yeah, we got Hell in a Cell October 2nd. By the way, that's like 2 weeks after Night of Champions. And then 2 weeks after Hell in a Cell is Uprising. And then you have a month till Survivor Series.
Is it because, do they get crammed because they missed, like there was no pay-per-view technically in March?
Oh, is that true?
Yeah, because they put WrestleMania off till April 2nd, 3rd, something like that.
I don't know, because even Over the Limit came up really fast too, didn't it?
But that's your May pay-per-view. So, and then would we just have like Extreme Rules in April? No.
Yeah, there were double Aprils. So it's, don't they do 14 a year now? Isn't that the number?
And then maybe that's what it is. Yeah, maybe they're just, and it's one of those things where people complain about it. It's too much, it's too many, and they're watered down. But even if only, I mean, for them, you know, a loaner, if 250,000 people order it, that's money. Like they'll keep throwing them out there as long as people keep ordering them.
Danny Richardson, did you name your dream card, your 5-match dream card?
I didn't think that was an option. I kind of wish I had.
Yeah, actually, we should probably do that tonight. That needs to happen before the end of the dream card. By the way, that was my new game. The Kevin asked a couple questions, and maybe Danny asked one too. I hope that game sticks around. It doesn't have the ring of an Undertaker versus Undertaker or a 5-match dream card game, but it's definitely a fun game.
I'm gonna take it into consideration. I'll let you know next week how I feel about it.
What do you think about Starrcade, though? I can't move on. I feel like I need to get a petition going. Can I put your name on this petition for Starrcade to come back?
Absolutely. I think that's something we could start. All right, we put our names behind that. That's a movement people will get behind.
By the way, if we want to make the Royal Rumble bigger all the time, now we got 40 people. Why don't we bring back World War III? I loved that. That was my favorite WCW event because the 3 rings were there all night. So Billy Kidman was springboarding from one ring to the other. It was all pretty awesome. But now we're just got 40 men and we have to act like we're amazed by it.
I was going to say the best thing about War 3 would be the other matches before the big battle royal.
Yep.
Where people got to be creative and try to use the other rings.
And also, what is the name of your dream card?
I don't have a name. It's so putting me on the spot.
How about World War III?
Can I name it World War III?
We can. How many rings are in your dream card? Is there a special multiple ring match? How many stipulation matches do you have?
That's a good one. I actually have 3 stipulation matches. 2 I intentionally left without a stipulation so that it wasn't too much.
Wow, this is great. Now, can I try to guess your opening match? I think I know what it is.
Yeah.
How couldn't it be Bret Hart versus Owen Hart? That's the WrestleMania 10 perfect open, and I think it's the Danny Richardson World War III, unless Primetime's in the opening match, but I think this might work.
That's not on my card, but it's interesting that you point out because I do have, I did have stuff in the consideration of if we've already seen him or not, can you still have a dream match if it's a match we've already had?
Yes, absolutely. Now, that's the thing, because I like to think I put a lot of thought into it, but compared to you, minimum thought. And the one match I'm really throwing out there, and this might stick as the main event, is 96 HBK versus 98-99 Austin, just because I want revenge. I want people to see it happen. And it's already happened, but it's 2 years earlier, Shawn Michaels. He's unbeatable.
Yeah, it's not the same there.
Exactly. Well, yeah, so you can definitely redo matches.
Okay. Well, I'll throw this one out there because I put it on Twitter. I could not come up with a match for the Ultimate Warrior. He's on my top 5, and that was a criteria. I felt like all the guys are my top 5. Now, I know the dream card may not be a dream card that everybody wants to see, but it was for me. It's my dream card.
Ultimate Warrior versus Ming doesn't sound exciting to you?
I could not put him in a match that I couldn't, whatever I could slip him into, I had something better than it already. Well, and I was talking to someone else about it on the Facebook page, and they mentioned, I think, Ultimate Warrior versus Hulk Hogan. I said, but that match has already happened. Yeah. So that was Ultimate Warrior's dream match. If there's one person Ultimate Warrior should fight, it's Hulk Hogan. And in that same time, it happened. That was the pinnacle for Ultimate Warrior's career. There is no better matchup for him out of anybody else in wrestling.
But we've all realized the mistake since then. Why should he still be on that pedestal? He's not. First of all, he's on Glacier's pedestal. I think Ultimate Warrior versus Glacier is what he deserves. He does not deserve anything. Are you still putting Ultimate Warrior as a top-tier performer?
Yeah, he's got a soft spot in my heart. It's because it's little kid Danny. As a kid, I grew up. That's what I love. He was everything. And there's no way I can't consider him one of my favorite wrestlers of all time because he's such a huge chunk of my childhood.
Whose wrestler's cock do you want to see the most? Because you sound like a faggot. No, I'm just...
I was going to answer the question.
Actually, can you, though? Because I have an answer, too. But I also just pictured a bunch of tough wrestling guys turning down their... All right, I'm done with this. I gave them the weird question game. Now they're talking about dicks. Well, actually, yeah, dicks are fine. Now...
Doesn't it have to be Andre the Giant?
Oh, no. Yeah, I guess so. The freak... Well, Kurgan, even. I care... Kurgan's dick must have just jobbed for so many different wrestlers.
And the opposite, I look at Great Khali and I think there's no way that guy's packing.
Was there a blowjob joke in what I just said? Is that what I meant? Because I didn't really think it all through. I just knew job is what wrestlers do. Plus, there's some hand jobs happening. So
there was somewhere you could have ran with that.
That's pretty funny, if I can throw that out there. So wait, we're going with Andre's cock over. That's the worst. This is the all-time over Jimmy Hart's.
Let's not rush to get to my new game.
I'm thinking Jim Cornette actually has the dick, and also he can't wear a shirt. I need to see his gut rolling over the pubic hair and just that mess of a shoot dick popping out. Mister, I'm shooting all the time. He's overcompensating with all those shoot interviews.
Yeah, if I'm gonna look at him, I need full frontal.
Also, he's carrying around a fucking tennis racket. Yeah, we're not fooled. You fucking fat ass small dick piece of shit.
How can you hate on Jim Cornette?
I'm just trying to be silly guy. I'm trying to take hits.
All right, so
I'm trying to shoot, man. I'm trying to get to the headlines. These wrestling sites need to pick up on this shit. Now, actually, did you work in any special managers for your dream card? I think that'll be exciting.
I didn't. I thought of it on one of them, and I'll get to that. I have a tag match that I felt it was necessary that there had to be a tag match. So where I probably could have came with a better singles style match, may have got bumped because I felt I had to have one tag match.
I apologize for the fourth week in a row for saying faggot. Now, I already hate your card because tag matches are terrible unless, did you just put together random people or did you pick the headbangers, like a real tag team?
No, two real tag teams.
All right, so Smoking Guns and who?
We already said the headbangers.
Are they? How about that? What kind of name is that? Let's see their dicks. What the hell's so exciting about these guys?
You're talking about the one Billy Gunn
and the headbangers. Come on, how many cock references are hidden or not even hidden? Just they might as well have like how in the early '90s, late '80s, like Shawn Michaels had the logo that you could never draw, the weird text of his name plus the heart broken in a drop, and they just need to have big dick logos now, and actually have a great logo if they could put a number 8, a bunch of equal signs, and then a D, and then put headbangers. I think it'd be great.
How long before somebody steals that from you?
That's gotta be Kane's dick. That's gotta be Kane's dick. Stone Cold's dick. Stone Cold's dick. Stone Cold. How irritating was that too in WCW when fucking they bring out that shitty writer to be Jim Ross? That was infuriating. But then fast forward a year, he's gone. And they have, Mark Madden, some other fat guy? And he's still doing the bit. Like, get over it. You're losing the ratings now. Get used to it.
A weird small story that I always feel I have to bring up every time you mention someone that I've met. But I met the guy that did the fake Jim Ross.
Was he a writer? Was he?
He was. He was originally a writer in WWF.
Adam Ferreira? Is it Adam Ferreira?
And he left with Vince Russo, and they went to WCW together.
Okay, that is his name. I know him. Okay, Adam Ferreira. Yeah. Yes.
Ed Ferrara, right? Adam Ferrara is a comedian.
He's bad. He's way funnier.
No, Ed Ferrara is way funnier than Adam Ferrara. I've seen Adam Ferrara too in person.
I don't know either of them now. Now I'm just confused. I just want him to start yelling dick stuff again. But I'm listening. I'm going to hold that urge in.
I went to a local show. It was like $5, maybe 10 people in the arena, and he was there. And I had no idea who he was or anything like that. But he was a wrestler, and he wrestled under the name Beautiful Bruce Bodine. And it was essentially like a straight knockoff of the old school Adrian Adonis.
Adam Carolla was a wrestler? No, I'm just kidding. So Ed Ferreira actually is trained for in-ring activity looking like he does?
Yeah, he was just a fat, cheesy look. Like this was 1996, and he still had he looked like a wrestler straight out of the 80s.
Before we move on, I got to ask you, what are your thoughts on Vince Russo? I'm starting to rethink my whole stance on him.
I want to like the guy. I think the problem was Vince Russo started to believe that he was Vince Russo. Like he got the Goldberg syndrome. Like he started to believe his own hype. Vince
Russo started to believe that he was Vic Venom, and then there was no turning back. Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's true. He definitely deserves. Do you think he deserves all the credit for WCW's failure?
No, definitely not all. Because I don't know. And everybody online does their little fantasy booking where it's like, if you were in charge, how would you have done? What storylines do you like to see? I don't know that anybody could have walked into that mess and cleaned it up. I mean, they tried. I mean, they even went to the extent of something I've never seen any company do. They wiped the slate clean, took away all the belts, all the feuds, and tried to realign it. They tried a whole new storyline. They were really original, and it just wasn't enough. Like, you couldn't forget everything that had already been done. You couldn't undo it.
How much of a mess was WCW? Because I hear it from everybody. The Benoit, the Big Show, Jericho. Wow, coming here to here, meaning to WWF, it was like the whole world, like everything was color now, he says.
Yeah.
But then there's like the Scott Steiners who love WCW because they could kick DDP's ass randomly behind the scenes and still be champion. So, was it a mess, or is it just revisionist history? Like, that failed, now we're on the good side, or what is your vision of how it worked back then?
I think it really was a mess backstage because everybody seems to have the same reasons, and if everybody came forward with different reasons of why they didn't like it or why they were miserable there, you could say, maybe it's just clouded just looking back, but everybody's the same stories about how they would show up and the night of, 20 minutes before airtime, nobody knew what matches there was going to be. Nobody knew what storylines they were running with. And they would be rewriting the show 10 times, as it was airing, trying to figure out what the end of the night was going to be. And everybody seems to have the same positive spin, at least the successful ones. I mean, you listen to like guys like Hall and Ash, they don't even deny how much of a mess it was, but like their argument was, but we all made a lot of money.
Yes, because exactly, yeah.
It's like they tricked this giant company into just giving them a ton of money, and it's like just a little bit longer, and they drew it out as long as possible, knowing, it's like, I'm sure everybody there knew it was only a matter of time before this company just crashed and burned, but they were all getting their paycheck for as long as they could.
I love the way you put that. I could never come up with that series of words. I think that's perfect. Because you hear Jericho on his DVD talk about, I don't know if it was his last Nitro, but Kevin Nash just jumping into a pool or something. Everyone's just having a blast, collecting their paychecks, not even concentrating on the war that they essentially started. And when you start involving creative talent in the creative pool or giving them any creative control, then that's already a recipe for shit. Does WWE have any track record of doing that, even with Hogan? Who would have their own creative control?
The Click would be.
Oh, that whole... You think so? You really think so?
Not the equivalent, but that would be their example of it.
Because I read the Shawn Michaels book. Look at me watching DVDs, reading books. This is the new game show. It's Kevin's book / DVD, but more DVD than book usually stuff. But in Shawn Michaels' book, he talks about how... And again, he's, of course, the leader of the Click. He's my man. He's my boy toy. He is on Danny's dream card. He's the main event of mine, regardless of who he faces. Probably Kane, or it's a triple threat match. Kane, Scott Steiner, Shawn Michaels. Winner is the Universal Champion. Anyways.
It's your dream card, whatever you want to see, and we'll judge you based on that.
Danny, you're distracting me from my point. In his book, he said, they basically rewrote like all the characters or made a list of the ones that had to go, like the dumpster and the goon, like all these silly gimmicks. And Shawn Michaels takes a lot of credit for getting rid of that silly childhood bullshit, which he was the leader of, and bringing in the real guy stuff, which TNA that's all they do now, except for Abyss.
Yeah, I really got to read that book. I own the same book.
Great.
I've never even opened it.
Can you actually give it to me? Because I lost mine, and I want to read it again.
If you read it to me, I'll mail it to you.
I will. I'll actually record an audio version for everyone. I will record the audio book. Kevin Scampoli reads Shawn Michaels' book, except I'm skipping the bullshit about his childhood. Who cares?
I'm smelling a hit.
I wanted to be a wrestler. My mother was like, no. But my father was skeptical. He said, go to school. And then he said, I'd go be a wrestler.
Isn't that everybody's autobiography?
I need you to trail that out for like 4 paragraphs. I swear, everyone grew up the same way. I don't care. Yeah. I was kind of abused. That's probably why I turned to wrestling. My dad, though, when he wasn't beating my mother, took me to an event, and he just saw the light up in my eyes when I.
Who did you see? Jimmy Snuka? Did you?
Yeah, exactly.
Did you see Ricky the Dragon Steamboat? Who was it that changed your life?
Oh God, it was definitely both of them. I saw both of them, and it was incredible. Both of them jumped off the top rope, and they're equally my number one greatest. I said I'm going to do that someday.
Isn't that funny how, like, back then, something like jumping off the top rope inspired people to become wrestlers?
Yeah, why would Jimmy Snuka ever inspire anybody? The guy's a joke. Isn't he?
He has 1-2 highlights, I mean, in his whole career. And I'm not knocking Jimmy Snuka. I liked him as a kid, but he was a curtain jerker. He was, not even mid-card status most of his career.
Well, he wrote the song Dream On, so I can never take that away from him. And he's the current host of American Idol. But I can't appreciate what he did in the
no
ring.
idea where you're going with that.
Steven Tyler. Does he look like him?
Oh, I could see it like a very tan Steven Tyler.
That's my new character. Forget it. I'm not doing that this week. This is going to be...
I'm so glad I got you to explain that joke because there's no way I was the only one that was lost on that.
It was hilarious. How could you not love it? By the way, Dream On.
I was trying to think of what wrestling theme song was called Dream On.
Well, Ivan Cage's, for one, because he loved Aerosmith and he fucking kicked ass and took names, kicked more ass than taking names. I don't know what that means. What's the phrase where you say, I'm here to so-and-so and kick ass, and I'm all out of so-and-so? What's the so-and-so part?
Chew bubblegum and
yeah, that's what I would end my RPs with. Yeah. Look.
Roddy Piper says he invented that catchphrase.
Then he's a piece of shit, and I hated him. I'm glad I hate him. What do you think of Piper? Is he in your dream card?
He is not on my dream card. I do like Piper, but Piper's one of those guys. I like Piper on the mic, and he's hit or miss these days because sometimes you bring him in and he tries too much to be Roddy Piper. He's another guy that lives his gimmick. If you ever get a chance, I don't know if you ever look at Roddy Piper's Twitter page. Yeah. All he does is retweet. People basically make up Chuck Norris-like facts, but insert Roddy Piper's name.
Christ, it's not funny.
And he just retweets it so he's just sitting at home embracing how great people think he is.
I have a lot of fat jokes about Piper that might work with Chuck Norris too. I'll throw them all up on Twitter tonight. But watch how I bring all this back, Danny. Did you ever see Roddy Piper versus Russo in TNA, the shoot that supposedly happened?
I did. I just watched that maybe a month or two ago. That was, I really like it. Do you believe it was 100% shoot?
Really? Oh, are you asking or are you saying you do?
No, I'm asking, do you? Do you think that was all legit or do you think that was Russo-ish?
It's very Russo-ish, but that's why I've turned around on him, because questions like that. For one, I should answer your question first. I think it was real, I'll just say, and I'm going to play some of it. But also, for what he's done, being like when he came back to WWE after folding WCW, the reason he says he left is because he wasn't given full-time control of writing a show. Now think about that. Would you he was going to get paid more than he got paid to go to TNA to sit at home and be a consultant, but he wants to be the full-time guy. And if he was that at one point during the Attitude Era, how can you take away anything he's done?
Everybody or people that I shouldn't say everybody. There's people that I've heard speak out about Vince Russo that are against him, and they say that he shouldn't get as much credit as he got for WWE. Because they said everything has to go through Vince McMahon.
Yeah, I've read that. Yeah.
Vince was the filter. So they said Russo could throw out 1,000 ideas. Vince got to handpick which ones went on the air. So, in some ways, imagine what it would be like if Vince didn't filter. Because look at some of the shit that we did get and how horrible it was. So imagine if everything Russo had came up with,
You are looking live!
Sorry. I swear, I know if this happened last week or the week before, I would be laughing because I did it on purpose. That was an accident. But continue. How could you? But no, I've heard what you've said. I think Flair is known to also come out against him. And Flair made a great point that, you're supposed to give credit to this writer because of Stone Cold, The Rock, Mick Foley, etc. So no matter who's writing, it's that talent is there.
It's kind of one of those things. It was the perfect storm at that time for WWF, and I've listened to Austin, and he claims that the whole Stone Cold character was 100% his brainchild, and his ideas, and he was the one that got them to run with it.
All right, let's see what Piper says randomly at 5 minutes in.
Right. He's dead. He was my cousin. He's dead. Why?
Owen Hart. He's talking about Owen Hart. Okay.
Someone like you who knows nothing about the technicalities.
Vince Russo.
Put somebody 90 feet up.
Now, actually, how can you even bring that up like that's Vince Russo's fault? You think he's the harness guy? He's going up there and strapping people in? Just because Vince rides it down first doesn't mean he or any writer, creative person, has anything to do with that aspect of the fucking business. So he's acting like Russo should know. This guy should fucking know that that's not the case.
Nobody put him up there thinking there was a reasonable risk that he was going to fall. Yeah. And it's real easy to paint WWE as the black hat in this. That they're the bad guy, and it's like maybe he shouldn't have ever been up there.
You said black hat. It's colored hat, but continue.
Sorry, African American hat.
Well, no, it's colored, but okay.
But are we going to? I was waiting for racist Vince to come in this week.
But he's pissed. Believe me, that's all I'm gonna say. He's pissed.
But I mean, it was a reasonable.
It's a nigger hat. It's a fucking nigger hat. Oh, sorry, that's his friend. Vince isn't racist.
Right, you can't just start off with that word. That can't be the first word in your sentence.
Hey, talk to white boy Floyd, Vince's best friend. I get him on the line. I don't know what he says. I try to tell him. You sound like me talking to him, but you're saying it to me like I'm him. So I'm all very confused, but I'm listening.
Oh, but I was gonna say it was a reasonable stunt to pull off. I mean, there was professionals working on this, stunt putting on the rafters. And Piper, where was he at the time? In WCW, who was doing the exact same stunt with Sting almost on a weekly basis.
And also,
nobody was raising a fuss then.
And they've done it with Blazer before. This is not a new thing, and basically, it's only a new thing to the people who heard about it, and wrestling is also a new thing to them. Like, he's a wrestler, and he's dead? I mean, obviously, Owen Hart's death affected me more than anyone else. I was a big Owen Hart fan, especially now. Now that he's dead, I love him more like everyone else. So I'm just throwing my 2 cents out there. But how could this shoot not be real if he's bringing that up? Do you think Russo told him, bring up your dead cousin?
That's a thing that I would say would vote for it to be real, because I can't see Russo. I could see Russo coming up with that idea, saying, "Go out there and say this, and we'll get people talking." I can't see Piper going along with it. And if that's the case, if that's what happened, Russo says, "Go out and bring up Owen Hart's death, and we'll get people talking about us." And Piper goes along with it, then he's a piece of shit.
Don't you ever watch old WCW and fucking guys like Piper would come out in the end when everything was failing or something, and you go, "You fucking traitor idiot. You know this is a war." And now look, he's still a traitor. Like, I feel like you need to have some affiliation and loyalty to the billionaire guy, the racist billionaire.
Racist Vince.
Why? There's no consequences to pay for you. Well, you know what? Everybody pays the piper, man.
All right. Now it might be a joke. If either that or he really does believe he's Goldberg, like you said. Yeah,
I'm sure he goes around using the catchphrase. And I don't mean to completely shit on Piper. I like Piper. I do see Piper as one of those guys that believes part of his character is him, and I despise that about wrestlers.
I feel the same exact way now I felt about him as a kid. Like, wow, that guy gets he loses all his interesting attributes when he's just wrestling in his stupid blue underwear. Like, he comes out looking all cool with his kilt and his leather jacket. Then he's just some chubby guy in blue underwear. Sorry, your personality's gone, long-haired faggot. Can I say faggot again?
Yeah, you can throw it out there. It's been a minute.
Say nigger, just say nigger. Whoa. That actually kind of sounded like me that time. But Danny Richardson,
I hope there's a censor at the end of this show.
If anybody out there wants to enjoy the next hour of their lives, get high as fuck, yell the N-word, then read Vince Russo's Wikipedia page. It's really entertaining, and you'll end up going other places that we would go, but we're on time constraints tonight, Danny Richardson. So I need to hear this dream card. We might not even get to your game tonight. So I need to hear this dream card.
All right.
That kind of upsets me. Huh? Did you get a little sad when did you get choked up when you heard the game might not happen tonight?
A little bit, but this game is timeless, so we could do it just as easily next week.
Yeah, I almost feel like we at least need to hear a hint of what it's going to be about, but we'll figure that out later. So the opening card match you said was a tag match.
It's not the opening match. I just mentioned there is a tag match on there. So I'm going to run back through the honorable mentions, guys that aren't on my card that I think would make most people's cards. So I said Ultimate Warrior didn't make it. No Andre the Giant.
Oh.
No Undertaker.
Oh, our cards are very similar.
And no Ric Flair.
What? Okay, yeah, that's fine. I accept that. I accept all those names. Those are great names. You know what? Take out the tag team match. Make that the fatal four-way in the middle.
There we go. See, because and all of them had a reason. Like we already discussed, Warrior's already had his dream match. Like he's never gonna have a better pairing. Andre, I loved watching Andre.
Do you?
I do. I liked Andre. I liked Andre back then because it was a freak show back then. But who am I going to pair Andre up with that makes for a great match? Again, Andre's greatest opponent would be Hulk Hogan. If you go back and watch that match, it's more of a highlight than it is a whole match.
And you can, I mean, you seems like you're sticking to the era of that they wrestled. You can definitely experiment. This is your personal dream card. It doesn't have to be what. Yeah, go ahead.
I just can't picture a better matchup for Andre the Giant than Hulk Hogan. And the same thing with I in my head, there's nobody I'd rather see them fight than that.
You are like a fucking 3-year-old fucking idiot wrestling fan right now.
You told me to put some thought into this, and then I'll say for Ric Flair. Ric Flair, I feel like has already had all the possible dream matches.
Wait, who am I? Ready? Say something, ready?
What do you want me to say?
Damn! Who am I?
Are you Farouk?
That's my new wrestling character. It's the 3-year-old not 3-year-old, but it's a wrestling kid who does impressions. Wait, who am I? Damn! That's all. That's my only one so far. Wait, all right. So you don't have the Big Show either. Let's clarify that.
No Big Show.
All right. What's the first match?
And doesn't that seem like you want to automatically pair I'm going to see Andre versus Big Show. But do you really?
I would hate it. I would hate that match.
Yeah, wouldn't that match not be that entertaining? It just seems obvious to put them together.
Yeah, and we're gonna call your card the Big Show. So this is Danny Richardson's Big Show.
I like it. It's got a name now. It feels real.
Music hits first at the beginning? Whose music gets the crowd to all the Danny Richardsons, the 30,000 Danny Richardsons in the audience to jump up and break their glasses?
If we're gonna open the show, we gotta open it with something big, little high energy. The first music you hit is The Rock.
Oh no! Opening.
If you were good, you would have inserted the actual music right there.
If you had, I didn't think this guy
would have been ready.
I didn't think that would be on your fucking card. I mean, especially as the opener. I mean, I know it's your personal dream card, but we need to make it a little realistic. All right? So it's Rocky Maivia then, not The Rock. Now, who's Rocky Maivia?
It's The Rock.
Is he facing Rocky Maivia? Because that song might have to hit first.
He will be going up against Macho Man Randy Savage.
Okay, that's acceptable. Now, what's the build up? Who's the heel? Who's the face? Or is this face versus face?
And that was the hard part I had with this. I know you told me we could do storylines. I couldn't. Only one of these matches do I really have a setup required for it.
Hey, who am I? Oh yeah, I am a crazy dude.
You should go back to the Ron Simmons impression.
No, I'm Macho Man.
Oh, I said you should go back.
God, I'm Randy Savage, former champion, former child toucher of the McMahon family. When will you understand? Oh,
I bet if you did your impression of The Rock right now, it would sound spot on.
Who am I? Ready?
All right.
Stephanie, I'm gonna lick your pussy. Who was that?
Was that your Rock impression?
That was Macho Man. When are you gonna understand?
I got that.
Do you even watch wrestling? The Rock. I
don't think that was on wrestling.
All right, who am I? Okay.
If you smell.
There you go. That's what I was trying to say.
I like that. I like the cue. I like the setup. Because, I'm known when I get the cue to hit it out of the park. Who was I right there? Ivan Cage. Okay.
That's you up for.
So who's The Rock facing again? Randy Savage. Now.
The Rock and Randy Savage. I feel like this match leading up to it, I don't care what your reason is, why. But these two guys, you could put them on the mic with each other every single week, and it would never get old.
Now, but still, are you going with corporate champion versus Macho Man as a good guy, or are you going with bad guy Macho Man who beats up his manager against good guy Rock, people's champ?
It's got to be, for me, it's heel Randy Savage. I much more enjoy heel Randy Savage than I do face Randy Savage.
And as much as I enjoy heel Rock more than face Rock, still they're the same guy completely. Yeah. He just changes one word in his whole speech. So
it was a change in hairstyle each time. That was the difference. That's how you knew he was going to be a different attitude that time.
Here's the big question. By the way, The Rock. How many cock references? Macho. Come on. Now, here's the big question. Who gets the win? Is it clean? And how does it finish?
Wow. Yeah, I think you're giving me way more credit than I deserve now, because I did not put...
You didn't obsess that much, did you?
Well, actually, I'll tell you, this was the last match I came up with based on after I filmed the other matches, and I realized, because this isn't one that you would naturally be like, oh, they should fight, because there's nothing really tying them together.
I got the ending.
All right, let's hear it.
Macho Man does 7 elbow drops. No. So Macho Man goes on the top.
Okay.
He jumps off for the elbow. It's been like 48 minutes of boring bullshit. And he hits it, right? Or does he? The Rock moves his head a couple inches, brings up his right arm and catches him in the rock bottom hold. Then on his back, muscles his way up to his feet and hits the rock bottom.
I'll take it.
Isn't that the worst ending ever?
But then when he goes to do the people's elbow, can he kind of drop it like Savage's elbow, do the little elbow tap and everything?
Oh man, that has to be the real ending. Some sort of People's Savage elbow.
Yeah.
But I love the idea of the Rock. He's out of it. Oh no, he's gonna drop the elbow. What? The Rock caught him?
I think I would put the Rock over this match, even though this week I have been watching Randy Savage YouTube clips like nonstop. I've been finding shoot interviews and stuff, and even if it's just people talking about Randy Savage, I've been obsessed and fascinated by this guy all week.
Is he any good?
Was he any good as a wrestler, or any of the videos any good?
Yeah, was he any good?
Yeah. I still don't know in which sense you mean. As a wrestler, he was the best.
I kind of wish you just answered my question. I said, is he any good? It's that simple. And you're over here.
I'm analyzing your questions of me analyzing.
All right, so Randy Savage, he does business for the Dream Car. Rock goes out, everyone's going crazy. Then Vader's music hits. Now, whose music hits next?
Well, if you're gonna spoil it, I'm not gonna play along.
I knew it would be Vader. Vader versus Warrior, draw, 1 hour draw.
I already told you Warrior's not on the card. See, all right, but if you know me, there's three. This next match, it's a 3-way.
Who am I?
There's 3 guys.
Who am I? It's time. It's Vader time. Who am I?
Ultimate Warrior.
You're just trying to be funny now. I'm trying to have a serious game with you, and you're trying to drop the fucking bum.
I didn't mean to ruin your game of 3-year-old does impressions.
Who am I? Oh yeah, I might be 3. Who am I? Ready? Danny Richardson. Hi. All right, triple
You're
threat.
racist Vince in disguise.
I do like triple threat matches. Last week we had a great discussion trying to figure out how they work from a professional wrestling point of view as far as calling out spots. I don't think we really figured it out, but I think our analyzation of how it might work was great. And I say that because people need to listen to it. But Danny Richardson, whose music hits first? And what belt's on the line?
I don't have any belts in any of these.
The internet title? You need the awesome titles.
This one would have to be some sort of hardcore title, but it would be the hardcore title when it first came out and meant something.
It was a joke belt given to Mankind to leave Vince alone. How does that mean anything?
But there was good matches for it before it became the 24/7 title. Before it became Crash Holly,
Jared Briscoe
hiding from people. The Mean Street Posse getting it, all that stuff. At one point when there was just regular matches, I remember watching Al Snow and Road Dogg, 2 guys that you might not care about, but having hardcore match that went all the way to outside, and it made people that shouldn't be interesting all of a sudden.
Who am I? Quote the Raven. No. Who am I? Man, Shane O'Mac was the craziest. One time we were out at this club, and then these people started talking a little bit. Man, Shane smacked him right in the face. Who am I?
Joey Gas.
Joey Abs, Pete Gas. I would have accepted either one.
Man, look at me not knowing my Mean Street Posse.
Weren't those the best promos when the Mean Street Posse was trying to hype up that Shane was tough? And Shane was legit in the ring. He put on some great fucking matches.
Yeah, that was a good time for everybody was blown away. It was one of those things where every time Shane got in the ring and fought, you had already somehow forgotten and underestimated how good Shane was. And it wasn't necessarily that he was a great wrestler, but he sold everything real well, and he always had spots to outdo his last one.
He was so athletically talented, and he was. Who could jump from turnbuckle to turnbuckle? Go ahead.
The number 2 entrant in my match could jump from turnbuckle to turnbuckle.
Robbie Vanny Dammy? By the way, that should be his name. Hello.
That's my new EFED character.
How great would that be in his new song? Robbie Vanny Dammy. The whole fucking show. The whole fucking show is great.
We're making a theme song for next week based on that.
I cannot find the Pete Gas promos about fucking how Shane McMahon's going to beat the fuck out of X-Pac. But they exist, and people should check them out. So, Rob Van Dam's the second person to come out. Who was the first?
Mick Foley. And this is 1998 Hell in the Cell, King of the Ring, Mankind, Mick Foley.
Yeah, this was the TNA match. This is your TNA triple threat match. Who was it, Abyss too?
No, just Mick Foley, RVD, Vader, and then I was going to let you decide.
Vader? It is Vader.
It is Vader.
Okay.
I said that. He's the first entrant.
Gee, I can't keep up. I thought you were just trying to tell me to do my impression of Vader, but we got both in, which is good.
No, a big thing for me was making sure that people from my top 5 were in it, but this ends up being 3 of the guys from my top 5. I didn't plan on it being that way, but as I kept moving people around, that's where they ended up with. I felt like this would make a really good match. So it's 3 different styles. They could all play off of each other. I swapped it out a couple times. RVD almost became Sabu. But then I thought RVD, because Sabu would do more, he'd be willing to kill himself more than RVD would, but I feel like the match will come off smoother and there'll be less fucked up moves if RVD's in it instead of Sabu.
I would rather see RVD versus Sabu straight up than a triple threat match. I think a dream card needs to have clean winners, one-on-one matches. Already you got a triple threat, then we got to deal with a tag team situation. I hate your card so far, and we don't even have a name for it yet.
It was Danny's Big Show. You gave it a name.
Danny's Big Show. What a gay name.
So, if you had those 3 in a match, I mean, what kind of match do you make it? Like, I tossed around that a lot, too. Like, it has to have, it can't be just a regular match, so it has to have something.
Well, they're all so different. You've got skinny, fat, and really fat. And there's not really one match. I guess you could go, I almost said cage, because you could do some stuff off the cage, and Mick Foley will even do that because he kind of like a wrestler I know was inspired by Jimmy Snuka when he grew up. But Snuka.
Since it's a dream card, doesn't seem like there has to be a Hell in a Cell on there somewhere. And we've talked about that. The Hell in a Cell's dead, essentially, after the Mick Foley. Like, he killed after 2 Hell in a Cells, like, there was no point in doing it.
No, they mixed up. The gimmicks of these matches are all backwards. Steel cage match should be hyped up for what Hell in the Cell is. And Hell in the Cell should be hyped up for what the steel cage match is. They hype up a cage match as no one can interfere when every time someone does. Meanwhile, Hell in a Cell, you got a fucking roof on it. Perfect. And then they hype up Hell in a Cell like it's the most dangerous structure. It's just the cage metal. And if anything, it locks you out from getting cooler things. Like, you can't go through the announcer table because the fucking cell's there. You can't fight on the stage, which I hate anyway, which is more dangerous because the cells, it keeps you in, it keeps people out. Cage match, fucking, you can get stuff. Get back in the cage, jump off the cage. You can't even jump off the cell. I don't know why this cell's supposed to be intimidating and a cage is just like, well, it locks you in.
Because Mick Foley made it that way. Like, and it's really, there's nothing about the Hell in a Cell, like you're saying, that guarantees you're going to fall off the cell, through the cell. That all the things that made the Hell in a Cell famous shouldn't happen in a Hell in a Cell. It's like the Hell in a Cell is designed to not have those things as a possibility.
Owen Hart's dead?
Are you reading Wikipedia again?
Yeah, holy, what the fuck? All right, well, I feel like we need to have a moment of silence for this guy. No, all right, I'm listening.
So I did have that as an option, Hell in a Cell, if I wanted to do that.
Don't do that.
But it was like we'd almost have to go back in time before the match got overdone. Like, it would be before the actual 1998 Hell in a Cell match happens.
Make it a Vader bomb match. You can either do a power bomb or the Vader bomb off the turnbuckle, and then you win.
Well, I wonder who would win that. I also thought about some sort of, it's just got to be some sort of hardcore match, but not, I mean, like a Japanese, not necessarily the death match, because if you ever watch those, they turn into garbage.
So you want C4 on boards, you want barbed wire on boards. Okay.
I don't want to go that far. I don't want the ropes replaced with strands of barbed wire, but I want it to have, I want it to be something that would be hardcore enough to impress a Japanese crowd, but they wouldn't come off. I don't want the, WWF hardcore match with stop signs and trash cans.
Well, that almost turned me around on it. The idea of, I love the C4 on the board, the cardboard on the board, the barbed wire on the board, but why don't you just throw Terry Funk in, make it an elimination 4-man? And is it an elimination match or just one pinfall wins?
I think on this one it's just one pinfall because there might be a 2 out of 3 falls later on.
Oh my God, I hate your well, you should make it one of those 3 stages of hell. And then they always have to say, the first stage is just street fight. Second one's cage. The third one, if needed, when it always is. No one's ever 1 and 2. And if they have, I apologize. Now, all right, who wins? Who's the bad guy? Mick Foley needs to come in bad. I'm saying that now. Vader needs to come in bad. RVD just comes in high so people cheer for him. How about that?
And for me, it's Mick Foley has to go over on everybody. I think Vader would be great in this match. You get Vader to come in, and he could, he's just tossing people around. He's the bully in the match. I feel like RVD would feel as the underdog in this match, and then Mick Foley would.
How about this? I got it. RVD, top of the cell, but there's a hole in the cell. So he jumps up. There's a 5-star frog splash. No, there's no hole in the cell. People are like, what he's doing? What is he doing? He jumps up, does the frog splash, lands on the cell, breaks through the cell, lands on Foley, but Foley throws his hand up, catches him with the mandible claw as he comes down. Next thing you know, he gets up from the pin position and wins.
Do you realize it's the same finish you wrote for The Rock and Randy Savage?
Yes, but there's a cell now, and he jumps through it, which is insanity, suicidal.
I was sure you were going to put a car in the match.
Well, here's the thing. You got 3 matches after, so I don't want to ruin the ring or have an intermission, but we definitely need Mick Foley to catch him with the claw or a rock bottom, and then maybe hit the people's claw.
I'm all for it. I have no way. I didn't write anything on how to end these things, so whatever you come up with, I'll roll with. But Mick Foley's got to go over for me.
And Vader can't lay down, so it's got to be RVD going down. And I know you don't believe in this match. This is like a filler match, it seems like.
I do, and every match has a purpose. This one for me, because I do love hardcore wrestling when it's done right. And so there has to be some sort of hardcore match, and I do love all 3 of these guys that are in this match. You said bringing Terry Funk, he was mixed in there at one point, and for whatever reason it just came out. It seemed like too much. It seemed too obvious. I try not to do those matches where you cram a bunch of people into one match just for the sake of it.
It seemed like this was still that, because for one, I like Dream Cards when they're done right, and this is not done right. Who's the next song to hit? This is
all right, so we're moving on. Now we're in match 3. We're looking at the tag match.
LOD versus the Outlaws in a ladder match with the Hardy Boys as referees and the Headbangers as guest commentators and Owen Hart as the enforcer with his casket. It's also a casket match. You got to put him in the casket with Owen and close the lid. You got to take Owen out of the casket, drop him with one of the Eddie Guerrero 3 suplexes where you spin up, then put the guy in Owen's casket, close the lid, put Owen on top of the casket, roll it off the ramp, off the stage, and then you win. It's like a dumpster match.
If you're just going to read my card for me, I'm not even going to bother.
Is Owen in this match?
Spoiler alert. No Owen. First music to hit, Legion of Doom. So you got that part right.
Moving on. What's the next match?
No. Because other people will appreciate this. Just because young Kevin Scampoli can't appreciate any tag matches.
No, the buy rate of your pay-per-view is a 0.8. So you're going to need a big main event, my friend.
Oh, it's the biggest. It's the best. And then, so of course, for me, because this match has happened, but it didn't happen where it was important. It was, and it didn't happen the right way, but it's LOD versus Demolition. They were, as I was growing up, probably my 2 favorite tag teams.
I want you to close Skype. I want you to shut down your computer. I want you to unplug it from the wall. I want you to walk 10 feet away and look at it for 5 minutes. And I will take that 5 minutes to apologize and end this. And then we will then delete the website. I will take us off of every feed reader. And LOD will still stink.
Do you have any idea how many people would agree with me on this match? You were so in the minority on this.
The only way I like it is if Demolition wins, which isn't going to happen.
That's fine with me. I don't care. And this is when I told you that we could have managers, because I thought, should LOD bring out Paul Ellerling and Demolition can bring out Mr. Fuji, or should LOD bring out
no one cares.
Draws Puke, and then Demolition can bring out Crush.
We're talking about a dream card, and you just said Draws and Crush. And you didn't, I don't even know if you're doing this ultra bit on me because you're sick of me abusing you every week, and now you're just going to play the straight guy, but in a ridiculous level. Because
I'm trying to sell you on this match, and I don't know what it's going to take. I'm telling you, you're in the minority on this. People would want to see this match.
Wait, are there tags in this match?
Are there tags?
Yeah, do they tag each other?
Yeah, that's how tag matches generally work.
Sucks then. It's the worst. It doesn't make any sense. I watched a WCW. It was before Money in the Bank, so it could have been innovative. There was like 4 tag teams in a ladder match.
You're making this up as you go.
I swear to God, they're all. It doesn't sound like it.
That's there was 6. No, 4, and everything was on fire. Everything.
I'm basically being Vince Russo when he wrote this match. All right, so there's 6 teams. No, 4 turnbuckles, so 4. There's 1 contract for the Cruiserweight title, ladders everywhere, and this is how stupid it is. It started with only 4 guys in the ring and 4 guys waiting to get tagged in a ladder match. Why weren't they just getting the ladder?
Like, were you going to get disqualified if you didn't tag in?
WCW was so shitty. I sit there with my girlfriend and my crying baby. By the way, man up, baby.
I heard you had a little baby incident.
Yeah, I dropped the baby. But wait, so we're watching.
I like that you just blow over that. Yeah. So, anyways, back to this WCW match.
She did some sort of weird Kofi Kingston fall too. It was amazing. But I watched it.
It'd be like a 450 on the way down.
We watch WCW pay-per-views on repeat sometimes because I throw them on, and I just always go, people watched this shit. Meanwhile, I'm watching it. But with the baby
on repeat.
I feel like Karma came in and dropped my baby with her finisher. Because first of all, if the baby died, we'd be in jail right now because.
And you mean Karma the wrestler, not Karma in the literal sense.
Of course. Wait, by the way, who am I? Ready?
You're Psycho Sid.
Karma. Jesus.
Oh, I'm horrible at this game.
I'm the worst at this game, and by game I mean broadcasting. Who am I? All right, you're a retard. So, anyways, the baby was on one of those bouncers, but it just had a vibrator thing. The bouncer was on the computer desk, and she wasn't strapped in. So I'm walking high as fuck.
What the?
I knock into it a little bit, and it moves, and I go, man, that's weird. All of a sudden, it just slowly begins to teeter off the desk, and I grab the bouncer. She's not strapped in, so she does a flip, lands on her back, and lays there for like 2.5 seconds, like, what happened? Then just screams like Karma's in the room.
You should turn your computer off. I want you to disconnect from Skype. I want you to turn your computer off.
Yep.
And 10 minutes later, I want you to come back. I want you to take this show, and I want you to delete the recording before somebody calls Child Protective Services on you.
You're so rude. You're a rude man.
You're a bad father.
No, that's my wrestling character, the deadbeat dad who comes to the ring with a 6-pack with only 2 bears left on it, and then 1 crushed can. As he's coming through the curtain, he throws it down. And he walks with his trucker hat on. And he fucking has sleeveless shirt. He looks like Primetime, actually, if you've ever played him or seen video of him.
He's wearing the Job Squad shirt.
His finisher, he's just what would his finisher be? I need something. Pedigree.
Oh,
no reason. His pedigree's his finisher's the heart punch. That's just how he beats his stupid kids. All right, now Danny Richardson. How many matches do we have left? 2?
2.
All right.
2. So they got to get better, right? I knew you would hate the tag match. It's in the middle of the card for a reason.
Is this a co-main event situation?
It very well could be.
All right, let's hear whose music hits next. I'm gonna say that it is. You already used all your guys. Shawn Michaels' is main event. Who would you put? Hulk Hogan.
He could easily be one of them. Yes, he's one of the 2, so he could come in.
Yeah, he doesn't come out first.
No, that wasn't what I was thinking.
Steve Austin.
There you go. I mean, that's kind of a given. It's not very creative, but at one point that was the match, and everybody wanted to see it when Stone Cold was at his peak and Hogan was NWO Hogan. People were talking about, what if these 2 fought? But I think of it more so it's Austin at his peak versus Hulkamania at its peak. So I'm okay to go face versus face on this. And, you settle the argument for who is really the biggest star of all time.
That should be the main event. That's the match. That's the dream match of every card. And
it is at this point. And isn't that weird? Because if we'd already had Austin versus Hogan when it was supposed to happen, when it was Hogan and Rock, do you think we'd be clamoring for a Rock versus Hogan match in the same way?
No, definitely not. And I think we'll still be clamoring for the real Hogan-Austin match in the end. Although it was great to see how the crowd reacted to Rock Hogan, and it's interesting to see how it would be if Austin was there, because they booed The Rock. They're not going to boo Austin. But you're calling this face versus face. If it's Hogan face who came first, how could Austin, and I know it's the dream card, but how could Austin exist as a face in that world? That's tough.
I don't know how you would write it, and I don't know how face Hogan can exist. Because say we were putting this in 1998, 99 era or whatever, like if it took place then, Hulkamania Hogan it just wouldn't work. People wouldn't take to him. They wouldn't accept him. And if you took Austin and put him in, 1989 against Hogan, it's just that obvious. I don't know how people would react to that. I don't know where that would go.
If we somehow create this alternate universe just for this match, kind of like how WrestleMania 2, it was in like 4 different cities. We have the other universe where this match, we're going to go to Universe 4 where blah, 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 and Stone Cold is together. That's what I call Hogan in my personal conference. Blah, 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 fuck him. And sometimes I call him ... It's just a lot. It's all 3-syllable nicknames. But also, I call him H2. I call him so retarded.
Do you?
I had a point.
You call him by his Twitter signature that he uses.
Oh yeah, and his awesome logo that comes up when those green lasers hitting TNA. But the only way you could write it in either era, let's just say they're both faces, people love them both at their peak, is if you go overly cheesy. However, like where they're like, I respect you. However, Austin was kind of a dick in his peak, and people loved him. But it wasn't against other, like, was he a dick to a Mick Foley? But Mick Foley was a heel when they feuded with Dude Love. So it's hard to compare it, but maybe there is some leeway there because Austin can be an asshole and people love it.
But that Dude Love feud spawned from Austin being a dick to a face Mick Foley.
Yes.
And so, and it was one of those things where you loved Mick Foley and he'd come to the ring and you wanted them to get along. You wanted him to get Austin to crack a smile, something.
Wait.
And then Austin would kick him and stun him, and you'd be like, you'd still be okay with it. Like, you were kind of sad for Foley, but you're like, well, that's just Austin, and that's what he does, so it was okay.
But that feud actually started because Stone Cold Steve Austin was his name was being chanted while Mick Foley was laying hurt in the ring. So it was the audience chanting Austin due to an announcement over the PA. Meanwhile, the New Age Outlaws just beat the fuck out of Mick Foley and Terry Funk, and no one cares?
Is that when they went straight into the dude? Because there was a time when it was face Foley trying, almost similar to what they did with the Rock thing, where he was trying to be friends. Because he did as Dude Love, he came out as Dude Love, the tag team with Steve Austin against Owen Hart and the British Bulldog.
That couldn't have been around the same time, because then it turned into Vince versus Austin on Raw. Austin, who am I? You said you could beat me with one hand tied behind your back, you nigger. Who am I? So then he ties his hand behind his back. Foley comes out. It looks like he's attacking Vince. Austin comes up. Oh my God, he turned on Austin. That is how believe me, this is when I was emotionally scarred from Shawn Michaels losing, and I wanted Stone Cold to get hurt. So this was a big moment for me.
But the debut of Dude Love was as he teamed with Stone Cold Steve Austin, wasn't it?
But is that the same era, same time?
Give or take a couple years, it had to be.
Give or take a couple
to be in the same era.
Give or take a couple years.
I'm saying that was the debut of the Dude Love character in the WWF. So, I think that's what I'm saying is that's what I'm thinking back to is that's when Foley was still a face.
Oh, okay, and he's
trying to be Austin's friend, and Austin wasn't taking it.
Who wins? And I want you to. By the way, who's the special guest referee?
I didn't even think of that. That would have been a great addition to this.
Andre the Giant.
No, Vince McMahon.
Really? Well, that's actually kind of interesting. But does he have any part in the finish? And I know you just thought of it now, so you don't know.
No, because we've seen the Vince turns on Austin, or Vince costs Austin, and we've seen the Vince helps Austin win the match. It's been done in a high profile way, so I feel like you stay away from it.
I have it. He does a frog. No, what happens is Stone Cold gives him the stunner, Vince. Then Hogan drops the leg drop, so neither one can get disqualified. That happens early. Then a new ref just comes out, and the match happens. But are you putting Hogan over? I think you are.
I want your spin on this because there's something I was unsure of for this one. Mm-hmm. Do you give it a gimmick match? Do you do anything, or can the match? Obviously the match can stand alone. Should it stand alone? Should it just be a one-on-one, straight-up normal match? Or, is there something you add to it? Do you add the old school steel cage?
No.
One of the things I mentioned at one point, but I'm not a big fan, was like I said, was the 2 out of 3 falls.
Yeah.
But it's because it's so predictable that it has to go to 3 falls. But I felt it's a way to keep the crowd. I mean, if Austin, say, gets the first pin, crowd's going nuts. And then Hogan gets the second pin, crowd's going nuts. As you're working towards the third, they're going to be exhausted and going insane. But, I mean, 2 out of 3 falls are just so predictable because it has to go to the third fall.
I feel like the first fall gets the most weight for me. I always think, well, he would have won. Moving on. Like, I don't ever really care who gets the second and third because you kind of know who's going to get the second. Like, when someone gets a clean pin in a 2 out of 3 fall match and it's a high-profile one, it damages the character he pinned because it's always early in the match or earlier, and it's just a clean win.
I think that way about Iron Man matches to an extent where, 10 minutes into the match, somebody gets a pin and you're like, oh, well, it only took that guy 10 minutes to beat him. Like, how hard could this be?
Wow, Angle is way better than Lesnar. I know they had one. However that went.
Yeah.
That's my analysis.
On SmackDown.
However that went. Who am I? Ready?
All right.
It is true. It is true.
I like that you just sabotage that as word. You're like, why commit to it?
Well, I'm him with hair. That was the old funny one. All right, now, who am I? I have a mystery opponent tonight, Taz, who's going to beat me with a chokehold, but I think I'm going to win. It's true. It is true.
It is true.
That was stupid. So wait, now, I think if you're going to give this Austin Hogan, the legendary match of all time, any type of specialty, it can't be something that'll taint it. It has to be one of those in good taste ones, like an Iron Man, which still is held in good taste. However, not with these two. Hogan can't pull that match off. Austin, he could, but against Hogan.
Would 2 out of 3 falls, would that hold well for them? Or
no.
I think for them, I think this match is gonna it just could be a straight up normal match. Like it doesn't and it's one of those ones where if they wanted to, the ref could be kind of loose with the rules where somebody's using the steps or getting choked with a camera cord or something like that.
I would write it. If it's going to be 2 out of 3 falls, I think it would be great writing to have Austin, like have both falls be like 20 minutes, like really hard fought falls, but Austin gets both. And then Hogan's left there like, what? My Animaniacs.
What about Wacko and Yakko?
Oh, my Animaniacs. Let me tell you something, dude. All my Animaniacs out there, they're really colorful, man. Whatever. No, I think that would be great.
I'll tell you who I think would win.
Who?
But I want to know who, because I think the match would be built on who's the biggest star of all time.
I know what you're going to say.
And then for me...
Yeah, Hulk Hogan. I know. You're an idiot.
I was going to say, for me, Hogan is... Because there's a larger body of work, Hogan's the bigger star, but I actually would put Austin over because this is Hogan's chance to prove that he will lay down for somebody and he will do it when it matters. This would be the biggest match of his career, and it could save him so much face if he laid down. Hogan doesn't need to win this, and neither would Austin. They're always going to be who they are, but it would mean so much more if Hogan lays down for Austin. Like, there's a swell of respect there. If Austin loses to Hogan, everybody goes, well, of course, because Hogan would never lay down.
And also, Hogan can win the rematch at some asshole's dream card who means much less and no one really buys it.
When your dream card takes place at SummerSlam.
I think my dream match is the SummerSlam of dream cards. But this match, I'm going to stick to my 2 out of 3 falls. Austin wins both falls. It's like one of those overly definitive but interesting, and almost like it could have still gone either way. Both falls were like a stunner out of nowhere, or he got his foot on the rope from a leg drop, but Hogan drops 0-2 in one match. I love it.
And you know what could be great if you were writing Dream Universe storylines is then Hogan, like you said, he's so devastated. How did he lose cleanly 2 falls, to this guy? So then what happens? He disappears for a little bit, and then he comes back. It is NWO Hulk Hogan.
You faggot nerd geek.
No.
I'm just kidding. No, I agree. So one more match. Wait 1 second. I should have brought this up first. But wait, did I just interrupt a great point you were making?
Not at all. I have no points.
Oh, damn it. Well, yeah, all right, here it is. The sound effect hits. Dun, 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 dun. Are they lowering a cage right now? Dun, 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 dun. Is there a cell up there?
Is this your newest impression? Because it's my favorite.
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. What's happening as this is happening?
My heart's beating.
Is there any type of gimmick here?
No, it's showing them walking from their locker rooms, getting ready to get to the curtain.
Oh my God, this is emotional. Dude, they're Stone Cold again. He just wrestled a match. Dude,
he's passing by.
This is interesting. Is it Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart?
Do you want to just keep guessing all my matches? Is that how you want to play
because
this?
I knew it was Shawn Michaels, and I'm like, who could he face? But this match, you can't. That can't be the match. I'm going to disqualify you if it is.
All right. So here's the thing. This is the only one that I have something leading up to it. For whatever reason, however it has to go down, leading up to this match at a lesser pay-per-view, maybe a Royal Rumble-ish level. Like it's obviously big, but not as big. Bret Hart gets a win over Shawn Michaels, which kind of evens up the overall score.
I said he's still talking. I had to mute him.
Wash, and then we forget all the lower card matches that we ever had.
Danny, I muted you for some of that because I was disgusted. Somewhere around the fact that Royal Rumble exists in your universe and Bret Hart beat Shawn Michaels at it. Now, continue. So Bret Hart beat Shawn Michaels. They call Survivor Series a wash, and this is the definitive match, basically.
Yeah, so this is leading up to, because if it was just this match, it would be too much to have Shawn win, and there's no way anybody's not guessing how this match goes down for me. But it's, if you brought Bret in and it's Shawn and they go to fight again and Shawn wins again, it's like, Jesus, you're just piling on to poor Bret Hart again. So there has to be something to make it feel like there's a way that it could be a toss-up either way.
There's nothing, and I don't know why you're doing a match that has happened at Survivor Series 92, WrestleMania 96, Survivor Series 97, and now Royal Rumble Dream World. I mean, this match has been done to death. And why is it after?
It's the biggest match that I want to see right now.
Then put in a DVD. What? Why? I feel like you should have Sid versus Diesel over this match.
No, I would love to see it because it would mean that much to me to watch these guys wrestle again. Because I have that much emotional, and maybe you're not remembering the love that you had for Shawn, and on the equal end, the hatred that you had for Bret.
I never really hated Bret. I just thought he was a nothing character, and now I actually kind of like him.
Now, you're a bad Shawn Michaels.
There's nothing really to hate about Bret. He's good in the ring. He has a voice. But
how did I not know this about you?
The feeling I have about Shawn Michaels is, by the way, that's me, is 100% based on he would win matches against different people, new people, unbelievable new challenges. This is not a new challenge. This is someone he's beaten and no one thinks he should ever lose to. And if you do, please fucking call in at 701-214-5521 and tell us, first of all, if you have a dream card or match, leave us a voicemail at 701-214-5521. And even if you just like Bret Hart, kind of call in too and let Danny know why he's the best. But there's no reason why this match should happen again.
But it's my dream match, and I think a lot of people would be want to see. And I admit, in an actual dream universe, Austin Hogan goes at the top.
Yeah,
like I acknowledge that. But for me, I have to have Shawn at the top, and there's nobody I'd rather see Shawn fight than I would love to see him have another match with Bret Hart. And I even already gave it there. It's an Iron Man match again. The longer I can see them wrestle, the better. And I don't care how they do the finish, how many pinfalls there are, whatever. Shawn comes out again, and it's that much more. It's another victory for me as a Shawn Michaels fan, and another loss for Bret Hart and his fans.
What a biased booker. So you're thinking Michaels 10-3, and the 3 were countouts.
Well, I think you would still book it to be interesting. So, I mean, I don't mind Bret Hart getting some wins. Obviously, you can't do the 0-0 thing again. I don't mind Bret Hart getting wins, and you book it to be interesting. But I'm saying I don't care if it's 7-6, 1-0, whatever.
Oh my God!
Shawn comes out, and that's all I hear. I can't imagine anything that would make me happier than watching that match.
Before I fucking just abruptly end this, all right, let's go over this card again. Now, Shawn Michaels wins that. I'm going to try to do this by memory. I hate your card. This is the worst game you've come up with. We've got Savage versus Rock. Rock wins. Very decent opening match. Legends, etc. Number 2, little strange. Vader, Mick Foley, Ivan Cage. No, who is it? RVD. Yeah. And by the way, I love the ending to your first two matches. The whole elbow gets caught to a rock bottom, frog splash through the Hell in a Cell roof for no reason, gets caught into a mandible claw. I approve of those.
If there's one thing I know how to write, it's finishes to a match.
Now, is it going to be Cactus Jack or Mankind? I forgot to specify.
I think overall in that match it'd be better if it was Cactus Jack, but the Mick Foley that I picked was from 1998. Like, just that he was that style, that over, that's my favorite Mick Foley.
You do know he was Cactus Jack in 98, though, right?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I think the highlight for me of a Mick Foley is Mankind at Hell in a Cell. Like, that's the all-time top Mick Foley.
Even more than Cactus Jack at WrestleMania in a dumpster match. So, all right. That one's okay. Now we're getting into a tag team world where Demolition faces LOD with, for some reason, Barry Horowitz as the special referee. Very strange choices. Then Demolition wins, though, right?
It would be a toss-up, but probably. But if LOD won, I wouldn't care either.
Oh, my God, you're the worst writer of a match card thing.
I didn't know we had to pick winners and losers.
If you're trying to make me happy, just make Demolition win in 4 seconds.
Demolition squashes
They just come out with chairs and beat the fuck out of them for 3.5 minutes and then pin them. All right. That sucks. And then we got, I love this, Austin Hogan, I might even steal it. Very good main event, co-main event.
Right.
Austin wins both 2 falls and 2 out of 3. First 2, love it. That wasn't your ending, but whatever. But now we have HBK Bret Hart. I'm giving your card, and I'm not even talking about on dream card levels, and as a pay-per-view, 3 out of 5 stars.
See, you're insane. Because this was just a pay-per-view, and you're not even taking into consideration Dream World. This is just a pay-per-view. It's hands down the biggest pay-per-view of all time.
No, this is the biggest uprising of all time.
No, you are in Austin Hogan, and then the next 4 matches could be Diva matches, and that's the biggest pay-per-view of all time. Get out of here with your 3 out of 5.
This pay-per-view definitely smells a bit like a Judgment Day to me. It's one of those like Kurt Angle versus Edge pay-per-views where somehow Edge wins.
Keep in mind, I'm judging your pay-per-view next week.
I can't wait. I'm going to I might as well whip out my fucking flaccid cock, get it hard, and jerk off onto a webcam. That's how good this pay-per-view is going to be. And that's free.
Now, at any point in any of these matches, like you said, the Austin Hogan, did any of them change what you think you might line up? Like, I'm not saying like you had the same match, so now you think you're going to change it. But did any of them think like maybe you think like it gave you a different idea for a match? Or
and this is retarded, I never even thought of Austin Hogan. Like, I was immediately thought HBK needs to beat Stone Cold decisively, 2 out of 3 falls. First 2 falls, Stone Cold tries to drop an elbow off the top.
No, stop. Why am I getting shit for putting together an HBK versus Bret Hart match? Because it's already happened, and you tell me, oh, just go put in a DVD. HBK and Austin has also happened multiple times.
And it really hasn't.
That was your match. That's the one match you came up with.
Now, it happened at King of the Ring to a no victory. It happened at WrestleMania to a broken back guy needs to retire. So it really hasn't happened. And also,
it happened on a Monday Night Raw.
I read in WWF Magazine that Austin's first loss was to Shawn Michaels. I never saw it. I never knew what happened. I can't find it. But that, in my mind, makes me feel so good that they're 1-1.
Is that how you look? I like that.
Who won the Raw one? Because it didn't happen. But tell me, in your dream Raw card.
I'm pretty sure it was a Raw, but there was one where because I've seen the YouTube video, and there's a mentally handicapped kid that tries to come out of the audience.
Oh my God!
Have you ever seen that? Isn't that our Monday Night Raw?
Are you thinking of Austin?
There's a handicapped kid who comes. He tries to come over the barricade like he's a big Shawn Michaels fan.
Holy shit, it really happened.
Yeah, and the security guards go on to this guy. So then Shawn stops in the middle of the match.
That was advertising.
Did you find it?
Holy shit! Yeah, as soon as this ad ends, I'm getting right to the end. If Shawn Michaels is up 2-1 on Austin, this is definitely a DQ type of situation.
Is it a Monday Night Raw, though? Does it look like? That's how I remember it.
It is Raw. It's 10/14/96. Yeah. But was this Brian Pillman coming out?
Tell me it was a Monday night.
Was Brian
10/14/96? That was clearly a Monday afternoon.
Oh my God! Was the retard Brian Pillman? If I can finally say that for the 3rd time. Oh, Sid comes out.
It was a young Paul Bearer.
Dude, there's another fucking ad. I just tried to skip to the end and a Sierra Mist ad came up.
They'll punish you.
By the way, dream match, Sprite versus Sierra Mist. I think Sprite. Now,
can I have a run-in from Slice?
Please. Oh, let's see what's happening. No audio of this match?
Really? I've seen it with audio.
Man,
are you sure you didn't just mute your YouTube?
I don't know what the fuck's going on, man. I'm sick of this world. I'm sick of this life, man. It's like, what the fuck? We're just spinning in the middle of nowhere.
Nobody gets you, brother.
We're spinning to nowhere, you know. And I feel like I'm the only one who gets it. This is the other character. This is his tag team partner. No, by the way, no one gets my partner.
Stable.
It seems like no one gets anything. My partner, it. You know, I get it, you know. We're just on the spin and rock, man, and we're heading towards the sun. And let me tell you something. When we hit the sun, I'm going to win. 1, 2, 3. Hit it. That's what he says at the end of every pay-per-view. Hit it. Meaning hit the sun, because we're heading right towards the sun.
Great.
And also he's a pothead, so hit it, son. Hit it, son. He was a kid. He was a pothead, too. So, all right, Danny Richardson. I have my dream card coming next week. We didn't get to the game. Tell me, do you want to hint at it, or do you want to save it all for next week?
I could hint. I could tell you the rules to the game.
Should we even? Should we? What does it revolve around? Storylines or characters or match outcomes?
It's a one-way game where I give you something and then you're gonna have to speak on it. So this isn't one of those ones where we kind of both give our input.
I'm gonna speak on it, dude. Because let me tell you something, Animaniacs.
This one is, to the best of my knowledge, this is a new game.
Like, you just don't know about it, man.
This isn't on. Pardon the interruption.
Hit it, dude.
It's not on Around the Horn. And I didn't secretly steal it from any other wrestling website.
Danny, your hints are terrible. No, this is not narrowing it down for anyone, but thank you for
I'm just saying, I'm proud because you point out that some of the other games might be borrowed from other sources.
They're fucking hack shit. So this is something original. I can't wait. I'm going to have a great name for it, too. But Danny, you do this thing every week on the whole fucking show, on the whole fucking show.info. That's fucking show on Twitter, the whole fucking show on Facebook, fucking show podcast on YouTube. By the way, go to Coward Brothers on YouTube for a new video of me shitting. What'd you think of that, Danny?
I have not seen that.
You didn't see it? Yeah, no? It's called Kevin Takes a Shit. Please, youtube.com/Coward Brothers. Also, subscribe, add, pay attention to that. Danny Richardson, you do this thing every week where you take us out. You like to go, you do your Hogan impression, you do your, where this traveling ball towards the sun thing. So funny. Danny, take us out.
Well, this week I'm going to be a little more serious, a little more subdued. I wanted to speak honestly for everybody that's not aware. This Saturday is the end of the world, and it's been predicted. And so I know a lot of people are very upset right now.
We're heading right towards the sun, man.
Exactly. They don't get it. They're very confused. They don't know if they're even going to have time to listen to this podcast, if they're going to finish downloading it on time. And I just want to let them know that in this time of need, when you're having doubt, there's only one person that you need to look to. There's only one man you need to look up to for guidance. And you need to ask yourself, that nigger, what would Shawn Michaels do?
You are such a hack bringing up that into the world thing. Even in the we hit and run style talking, you got to bring up hack shit.
See, you're crushing the momentum I had going there.
I don't know why. It's the end, and I'm trying to make you feel bad. What's that about?
Yeah, let's not go a week without that.
The whole fucking show.info. All right. Danny Richardson, I've missed you. I cannot wait to do next week's now because we've hyped it up.
Are we cut off already now?
Oh yeah. Well, I'm recording.
Can I explain where that was going that you ruined?
Oh, you were. I thought you were done.
No, you interrupted me. How could I have been done?
Oh, well, go ahead.
Oh, I'm not doing it now.
Was it good?
I'm not really. I was just gonna. I was gonna try to duplicate the going down in a blaze of glory quote for you.
A blaze of glory.
That's all. It sounded much better when you did it anyways. I've been practicing all day and it was horrible.
I can't wait.
You were about to have a new sound bite.
I know. I can't wait. I need to
It's called power. And it's called the power bomb. And no one gets up from that. And why